What's going on, everybody? Derrick TV back with another video, and in today's video we'll be discussing a potential hypothetical trade that was proposed by a former NBA exec. This article is per Lakers Daily, and the headline reads, former NBA exec floats out interesting trade idea for Lakers involving Russell Westbrook heading to the OKC Thunder. So he goes on to say, former NBA executive John Hollinger recently floated a way for the Los Angeles Lakers to get rid of Russell Westbrook's contract this coming offseason. It says Hollinger proposed a trade that would have the Lakers sending Russell Westbrook back to the Oklahoma City Thunder, where he started his career, in exchange for Derrick favors. He says, quote, one tantalizing possibility, for instance, would be to trade Derrick favors and another small contract to the Lakers for Westbrook and an unprotected Laker first round pick in 2027, a deal which would generate a ginormous Laker trade exception to bring in other talent via their newly available 2029 first round pick. Hollinger wrote, they could also swallow Tobias Harris, in one gulp, although Philly is out of picks to include or David Bertans or some other desperately unwanted contract. The Lakers would have to include a pick to facilitate the deal in Hollinger's eyes, but it could help the team bring in more talent around LeBron James and Anthony Davis. So if you guys would like to read the full article, the link is in the description box. So I think if the Lakers had intentions on trading Russell Westbrook, I don't think that this is the best available option in my honest opinion. And I think if the Lakers refuse to even trade Russell Westbrook to the Houston Rockets for John Wall and refuse to give up the first round pick, the 2027 first round pick for John Wall, then what on earth would make this GM believe that they would trade the pick for Derrick favors, in which now you are left without a point guard, which makes zero sense in my honest opinion. I mean, anyone with a brain would say, hey, the Lakers could counter and ask for Shai Gilgeous-Alexander in return, right? But I think the OKC Thunder truly view Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, as the face of their franchise for the future, and he's more of a complete player than Russell Westbrook is, and he's a lot younger than Russell Westbrook. They are all in on full rebuild mode in my honest opinion. What sense do it make to bring in Derrick favors when you have arguably the best big man in the NBA that's 10 times better than Derrick favors and Anthony Davis? Please make that make sense. But I think the smart decision, in my opinion, for the Lakers is to allow Russell Westbrook to be the best version of Russ. Hey, give him the green light to chase his triple doubles and build his confidence back up, to build back up his stock and his trade value, so that you can maximize getting the most out of a trade, a trade opportunity if presented. Because I think what fans fail to realize is that when the sports media shifted all the blame to Russ, and now it's AD is public enemy number one, public enemy, no rap group, no Flavor Flav, not talking about. But anyway, when the media attacked Russell Westbrook, it painted the narrative that Russ was playing absolutely horrendous, when in fact his numbers are the same as they were last season. It's just that the Lakers are losing, and most of these fans aren't watching the full game. They just watch these NBA lowlights all over the internet, all over YouTube and social media, with these ridiculous clickbait headlines and these titles clowning and roasting Russell Westbrook. Then it paints the narrative that Russ has been playing worse than he really's been playing, when they are biased. These channels are biased, these sports media channels, Fox News, ESPN, they're biased. They're biased for LeBron James, and they're failing to hold him accountable, because him scoring all these points, it's not helping the team. It's selfish as a leader. But as I mentioned, when you take into account that Russ has been playing, so-called bad, it's because of the fact that he's human. And people are being disingenuous. Like, he's human, so he hears what people are saying about him, so he makes mistakes. So he's making mistakes on a worldwide national stage, which he's, the pressure is getting to him. And the negative opinions and the people crucifying him is getting to him. And they're disingenuous, pretending as if they're in full support, when in reality they know why this player is uncomfortable. This toxic environment is going to get to them, and it's wrong on so many levels, because what you're doing is you're pushing other teams away. Essentially, that's what you're doing. You're going to put yourself in a position going into next season where teams are going to be like, Russ is horrible, because of this perception, and GMs are going to say, oh nah, I don't want no part of that. We don't want he not coming nowhere near my franchise. But anyway, what I think the Lakers should do, I think the Lakers should hold on to Russell Westbrook, and build around Russ, Anthony Davis, Malik Monk, and Austin Reeves. And I think it allowed those players to breathe. You know, it'd be a breath of fresh air if they could get rid of LeBron James and trade LeBron. I think those players could be your building blocks for the future. Russ brings that fanfare and excitement, especially like that dunk over Rudy Gobert. You know, I think that once you remove that cancer from the team, you are allowed to focus on team basketball more. And I think that, you know, I would see if, you know, I personally would see if the Lakers could get some first round draft picks for LeBron James, you know, back to Cleveland. Because I'm sure they would love to make all that money that, you know, would be generated with him and his son potentially playing alongside each other. But anyways, y'all let me know what y'all think. Y'all get in that comment box, like, share, subscribe. I'm out.